I stood in my kitchen, the phone shaking in my hand, as my mom's voice came through, calm but sharp, saying, "Kira, we love your brother's kids more. It's just how it is, so don't bring yours to Thanksgiving this year." Before I could even choke out a reply, the line went dead, leaving me staring at the pumpkin pie I just baked for a family that apparently didn't want us. This is a story of fighting for a place in your own family and figuring out what love really means when the people who raised you draw a line in the sand. Before we get into the story, let us know where you're watching from, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Hey, so picture this. I'm standing there in my tiny kitchen, flour all over my hands, the smell of cinnamon and pumpkin wafting up from this pie I'd spent an hour on. It's 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, and I'm in full mom mode, thinking about how I'm gonna keep my girls, Ivy and Juniper, from driving everyone nuts at my parents' place. I'm Kira Dawson, by the way, 34, single mom, living in this old rental house in Boise, Idaho, that creaks every time the wind blows. My life's a mess of part-time shifts at the hardware store, chasing after my 2 little tornadoes, Ivy's 7, Juniper's 4, and praying my beat-up Toyota doesn't die on me again. My folks, Barb and Dawn, they're an hour away in Nampa, in this squat little house with a porch swing that's been sagging since I was a kid. They're good people mostly, always there with a casserole or a lecture, depending on the day. Thanksgiving's our big deal, you know? Me and my brother Travis, we'd pile in there with our families, eat too much, yell about football. It's chaotic, but it's us. So I'm rolling out this dough, humming some dumb song Juniper's been singing non-stop, when my phone buzzes on the counter. It's Mom. I wipe my hands on my jeans, pick it up and say, "Hey, you got that gravy recipe ready for me?" I'm grinning, expecting her to launch into her usual spiel about how I never salt it right. But her voice comes through all flat and weird, like she's about to tell me the dog died. "Kira, we need to talk about Thanksgiving." I laugh a little, brushing flour off my sleeve. "What, is Dad still glued to the TV? Tell him to save me a spot." She doesn't bite. "No, listen. We've decided it's just Travis's family this year. His boys are, well, they're easier. Your girls, they're a handful, and we're getting too old for that." I freeze, one hand still on the rolling pin. The kitchen's dead quiet except for Juniper banging a spoon on her high chair in the next room. "Wait, what?" I say, my voice cracking a little. "You're serious?" She sighs, this heavy, annoyed sound, like I'm the one being ridiculous. "Yes, Kira. We love your brother's kids more, it's just how it is. So don't bring yours this year." My mouth opens, but nothing comes out. I'm just standing there, the phone shaking against my ear, and before I can even get a word in, she hangs up. Click. Gone. I set the phone down slow, staring at this stupid pie like it's mocking me. All those weeks I'd been planning, picturing Ivy chasing Travis's boys around the yard, Juniper sneaking extra rolls. I mean, I'd even bought them little turkey hair clips from the dollar store. And now this? Juniper's voice cuts through the haze. "Mama, snack," she yells, toddling in with her messy curls and sticky hands. I look down at her, her big grin, and my chest feels like it's caving in. I scoop her up, press my lips to her forehead, and mumble, "We're okay, bug." She squirms, giggling, oblivious, and I hold her tighter, flour smudging her shirt. Ivy's at school still, thank God, because I don't know how I'd face her quiet little stare right now. I set Juniper back in her chair with a cracker, then lean against the counter, gripping the edge so hard my knuckles turn white. The pie's sitting there, half-finished, dough stuck to my fingers, and all I can think is, how do I tell my kids their grandparents don't want them around? How do you even start that conversation? I don't cry though, I don't have the energy. Instead, I grab a knife and start cutting apples for the filling, slicing harder than I need to, the blade thumping against the board. Juniper's babbling about some cartoon, and I force a smile, saying, "Yeah, bug, that sounds fun," while my head's spinning. My parents have always been picky about who gets their good side. Growing up, I saw it with neighbors, cousins, even me and Travis. He's the oldest, 37 now, and he's got that perfect life. Married to Lindsay, 2 boys, a house with a garage that doesn't leak. Me? I'm the one who stumbled, pregnant at 26 with Ivy, then again at 30 with Juniper, both times with guys who didn't stick around. Mom and Dad helped, sure, but there was always this vibe, like I was the cautionary tale they whispered about over coffee. I finished the pie anyway, shoving it in the oven, because what else am I gonna do? The house smells warm and sweet, but it doesn't feel right. I keep hearing Mom's voice, that cold, "We love your brother's kids more," and it's like a slap every time. I grab my phone again, thinking maybe I'll call her back, demand an explanation, but my thumb just hovers over her name. What would I even say? Hey mom, why'd you gut me like that? Nah, she'd just sigh again, tell me I'm overreacting. So I toss the phone on the counter, wipe my hands on a rag, and head to pick up Ivy from school. The whole drive, I'm gripping the wheel, trying to figure out how to keep this from breaking us, me and my girls. Because if my parents are drawing a line, I've got to decide where we stand. When I get Ivy, she's waiting by the gate, her backpack dragging on the ground, her dark hair tangled from recess. She climbs into the back seat, buckling herself in, and says, "Did you make the pie?" I force a grin, glancing at her in the rear view. "Yeah kiddo, it's cooling now. You can have some after homework." She smiles, small and quick, and starts humming, kicking her feet against the seat. Juniper's still at daycare, and for a second, it's just me and Ivy, the hum of the engine filling the silence. I want to tell her everything, spill it all right there, but she's 7, you know? She doesn't need that weight. So I just turn up the radio, let some goofy pop song drown out the noise in my head, and drive us home. Back at the house, I cut into that pie while Ivy scribbles math problems at the table. Juniper's home now too, sprawled on the floor with a pile of blocks, knocking them over every 5 seconds. "Mama look," she squeals, holding up a wobbly tower, and I laugh, handing her a tiny piece of crust. "You're a builder, huh?" She shoves it in her mouth, grinning, and I sit back watching them. Ivy's chewing slow, her pencil tapping the paper, and she looks up at me, her hazel eyes catching the light. "Are we going to Gran and Pop's soon?" she asks, casual, like it's nothing. My stomach twists. I take a sip of water, buying time, and say, "We'll see, kiddo. Might be different this year." She tilts her head, but doesn't push, just goes back to her homework. I sit there, the pie turning sour in my mouth, knowing I can't dodge this forever. My parents just flipped my whole world, and I've got to figure out how to hold it together, for them, for me, for us. Okay, so the next morning, I'm still a mess. I barely slept, kept tossing around, hearing Mom's voice on a loop, that sharp little "it's just how it is." I drag myself out of bed, get the girls ready, Ivy's tugging on her sneakers, Juniper's fighting me over a mismatched sock, and hustle them out the door. I drop Ivy at school, Juniper at daycare, and then I'm just sitting in my car outside the hardware store, the engine ticking as it cools. My shift doesn't start for 20 minutes, and I can't stop replaying it. Travis's boys, Colton's 9, Bryce is 6, they're loud as hell, running around like wild animals last Thanksgiving, but apparently that's fine. My girls? Ivy's quiet, always got her nose in a book or sketching something, and Juniper's a handful, sure, but she's 4, that's her job, right? I lean back, staring at the cracked dashboard, and mutter, "What the hell, Mom?" I think about calling Travis. He's my big brother, the one who's got it all figured out, married to Lindsay, who's this perfect little homemaker type, steady job fixing cars, a house that doesn't smell like damp carpet. Growing up, he was the star, football games, good grades, never got caught sneaking out like I did. Me, I was the one who crashed Dad's truck at 17, got pregnant by some loser at 26, Tyler, Ivy's dad, who took off before she was even born. Then Juniper's dad, Matt, stuck around 6 months before he bailed, too. Mom and Dad never said it straight out, but I've always felt it. They look at Travis like he's the sun, and I'm the cloudy day. I grab my phone, pull up his number and text, "Hey, Mom, say anything to you about Thanksgiving?" My thumb hovers over send for a sec, then I hit it. He replies fast, "Yeah, they're excited for us to come. You too, right?" I stare at that, my breath catching. He doesn't know. I start typing, "They told me not to, but stop. Delete it." Not sure yet, I send instead, shoving the phone in my pocket. Work's a blur. I'm hauling paint cans, ringing up old guys in flannel who smell like sawdust, forcing a smile every time someone asks, "You okay, hon?" My arms ache from lugging a gallon of primer to some lady's truck, and I keep seeing Mom's face from last year, her laughing, wiping mashed potatoes off Juniper's hands, saying, "Oh, this one's a riot." What changed? By the time I clock out, my apron's streaked with dirt, and I'm no closer to figuring it out. I pick up the girls, and we're home by 6, the house chilly because the heat's acting up again. I throw together spaghetti, and after they're fed, I sit Ivy down at the table. She's got her sketchbook open, doodling a turkey with these big, goofy feathers, her tongue poking out like it always does when she's focused. "Hey kiddo," I say, sliding into the chair next to her. "Gran and Pop might not have us over this year." I keep it light, like I'm talking about the weather. She looks up, her pencil pausing midline, those hazel eyes narrowing. "Why not?" she asks, her voice soft but sharp. I fumble, picking at a scratch on the table. "They're just tired, I guess. Old people stuff." She stares at me for a beat, then goes back to her drawing, but her pencil digs into the paper, leaving a jagged tear through the turkey's wing. I scoot closer, wrap an arm around her, and pull her against my side. Her hair smells like strawberry shampoo, and I bury my nose in it, whispering, "It's gonna be okay." She doesn't say anything, just leans into me, and I feel her little shoulders relax. Juniper's on the couch, singing to herself, and I look between them, my chest tight. I've got to fix this, I don't know how, but I've got to. That night, I'm scrubbing dishes, the water scalding my hands, when my phone buzzes again. "It's Travis, you sure you're good?" Sounded off earlier. I dry my hands, lean against the sink, and stare at the screen. I could tell him everything, let it all pour out, but what if he shrugs it off? What if he's in on it somehow? I shake my head, push that thought away. He's not like that. Still, I type back, "Yeah, just busy. Talk later," and toss the phone on the counter. The house is quiet now, girls asleep, and I sit on the couch, pulling a blanket over my legs. I keep seeing Ivy's torn-up turkey, Juniper's sticky grin, and I clench my fists, nails digging into my palms. Mom and Dad can't just cut us out like this. I'm not letting them. Tomorrow's Saturday, I'll load the girls up, drive to Nampa, and sort this out face to face. No more hiding behind phone calls. So by Saturday, I'm done stewing. I wake up early, the sky still gray, and get the girls moving. Ivy's grumbling about missing cartoons, Juniper's bouncing around with one shoe on. "We're going to Gran and Pop's," I say, zipping Juniper's jacket. Ivy perks up, dragging her backpack to the door, and I feel a pang, hoping I'm not about to let her down. We pile into the Toyota, the engine sputtering before it catches, and I crank the heat as we hit the road to Nampa. The girls are in the back, singing some off-key pop song they picked up from daycare, and I'm gripping the wheel, rehearsing lines in my head. "You can't do this to us. They're your grandkids too." The highway stretches out, fields on either side turning gold in the fall light, and I keep my eyes fixed ahead, stomach churning. We pull up to my parents' place an hour later, the little ranch house looking the same as ever, peeling paint, that sagging swing creaking in the breeze. Dad's out front, raking leaves into a pile, his old flannel shirt patched at the elbows. He looks up as the car crunches gravel, gives a quick wave, but it's stiff, like he's bracing himself. I cut the engine, tell the girls, "Go say hi to Pop," and they tumble out, Juniper sprinting toward him yelling, "Pop, catch me." He drops the rake, scoops her up with a grunt, and I see a flicker of a smile before he sets her down. Ivy hangs back, kicking at the dirt, and I climb out, smoothing my jacket. "Hey Dad," I say, keeping my voice even. He wipes his hands on his pants, mutters, "Hey kid," and looks past me, like he's waiting for the real reason I'm here. Inside, Mom's in the kitchen, peeling apples, the air thick with cinnamon and sugar. Juniper bolts for her, shouting, "Gran," and throws her arms around Mom's legs. Mom bends down, hugs her tight, but her smile's thin, barely touching her eyes. "Hey sweetie," she says, ruffling Juniper's curls, then straightens up, glancing at me. I set the girls up in the living room with a box of crayons and some paper, telling Ivy, "Keep an eye on her, okay?" She gives me a thumbs up, already sketching, and I head back to the kitchen, leaning against the counter. Mom's back to her apples, the knife scraping slow against the peel. "So," I say, crossing my arms, "what's the deal?" She doesn't look up. "We told you, Kira. It's too much." Her voice is flat again, like she's reciting it. I step closer, my boots scuffing the linoleum. "Too much how?" "They're kids. All kids are loud sometimes." Dad shuffles in, brushing leaf bits off his boots, and cuts in, "Travis's boys listen. Yours don't." My jaw clamps shut, teeth grinding. I want to yell, throw something, but I take a breath, plant my hands on the counter. "They're my kids," I say, low and steady. "Your grandkids. You don't get to pick favorites and ditch us." Mom's knife stops. She sets it down, finally meeting my eyes, and says, "We're not ditching. We connect with Colton and Bryce. They're like Travis was. Your girl's there," she trails off, "but it hangs there heavy, they're like me. Messy. Too much." I feel heat prickling my face, but I don't flinch. "So that's it," I say, my voice rising despite myself. "You're punishing them because they're mine?" Dad shifts, scratching his neck. "Not punishing, Kira. Just choosing." Mom picks up an apple again, starts peeling like we're done, and I just stand there, the cinnamon smell turning my stomach. From the living room, Juniper's giggling, Ivy's telling her, "No color inside the lines." And it hits me, I'm not getting through. I turn, grab the girls' coats off the couch, and call, "Come on, we're heading out." Juniper whines, "But Pie," dragging her feet, and Mom says, "Stay for a bit," but it's half-hearted. I shake my head, bundle them up, and we're out the door. Dad's back to raking, doesn't look up as we climb in the car. Ivy's quiet, staring out the window, and Juniper's pouting, kicking the seat. I start the engine, pull away, and feel like I've lost something I didn't even know I was holding on to. The drive home's silent except for the hum of the tires. Ivy's clutching her crayon drawing, a lopsided house with stick figure us, and I keep glancing at her in the mirror, her face blank. Juniper falls asleep, her head lolling against the car seat, and I grip the wheel tighter, fighting the sting in my eyes. I thought I'd get answers, maybe even fix it, but all I got was more proof, they don't see us the same. I'm not sure what's worse, them saying it out loud or me knowing it's been true all along. Back home, I'm falling apart. It's Sunday night and I'm trying to make mac and cheese, easiest thing ever, right? But I burn it, the pot steaming with this gross, charred smell. Juniper's at the table banging her cup, and I snap, "Stop it, Junie, just stop." She freezes, her lip wobbling, and then she's crying big, hiccupy sobs. I drop the spoon, sink to the floor next to her chair, and pull her into my lap. "I'm sorry, Bug," I whisper, rocking her, my cheek pressed to her messy curls. She sniffles, buries her face in my shirt, and I feel the damp spot spread. Ivy creeps in from the hall, her socks whispering on the floor, and slides this crumpled drawing under my hand, a turkey, the one she tore up before, taped back together. "It's for you," she says, her voice tiny. I pull her in two, one arm around each of them, and sit there, tears burning my eyes. "You're my best girls," I choke out, and Juniper mumbles, "Love you, Mama," into my neck. I get them fed, PB&J instead of the ruined mac, and tucked in, but I'm done begging for scraps from my parents. I grab my phone, pace the living room, and dial Travis. It's late, but he picks up groggy. "Kira? What's up?" I don't waste time. "Mom and Dad don't want me and the girls at Thanksgiving," I say, my voice shaking but firm. "Said they love your kids more." He's quiet for a long beat, then mutters, "That's messed up." I didn't know. I believe him. Travis is dense sometimes, not mean. "They told me straight up," I say, kicking at a loose floorboard. "I went over there today, tried to talk, and they doubled down." He swears under his breath, and I add, "Talk to them, Trav. I'm done fighting this alone." He sighs, "Yeah, okay. I'll call them tomorrow." I hang up, toss the phone on the couch, and sink down, pulling my knees up. I'm shaking, but it's not just anger, there's this tiny spark, like maybe he'll actually do something. Next day, I'm off work, so I keep the girls home. We're in the kitchen, baking cookies, chocolate chip, their favorite. Juniper's on a stool, sneaking dough when she thinks I'm not looking, and Ivy's measuring sugar, her tongue out like always. The phone rings mid-batch, and it's Travis. I wipe my hands on a towel, step into the hall, and answer. "Hey," he says, voice low. "I talked to them. Told them if you and the girls aren't welcome, me and Lindsay and the boys aren't coming either." My throat locks up. "Trav, you didn't have to," he cuts me off. "Yeah, I did. We're family, Kira." They were pissed, but I don't care. I lean against the wall, blinking hard. "What did they say?" He snorts. "Dad grumbled about us ganging up. Mom tried to guilt me, we're not young anymore, but I held firm." I manage a shaky thanks, and he says, "Let me know what happens," before hanging up. I walk back to the kitchen, stunned. Juniper's got flour on her nose, giggling as she smushes dough, and Ivy's licking a spoon, grinning at me. Cookies soon? She asks, and I laugh, this real raw sound that's been stuck in me for days. Yeah, kiddo, real soon. We finish baking, the house smelling like sugar and warmth, and I let them make a mess, flour everywhere, chocolate smeared on the counter. Juniper's dancing around, singing, "Cookie, cookie," and I join in, spinning her until she's shrieking. Ivy rolls her eyes but cracks a smile, and for the first time since that call, I feel lighter. Travis stepped up, and that's something, but Mom and Dad, they're stubborn as rocks. I'm not counting on them bending yet. I plop on the couch later, cookies cooling, girls watching some loud cartoon, and stare at the ceiling. Thanksgiving's in a few days, and I've got no clue what's coming, but I know I'm not letting my girls feel like they're less. Thanksgiving morning hits, and I'm up before the sun, staring at my phone. There's a text from Mom, sent at 3 a.m, "We're sorry. Come over. All of you." I sit on the edge of my bed, the screen glowing in the dark, and read it again, waiting for the catch. Travis must have shaken them up, but I need to hear it from their mouths. I get the girls moving. Ivy's in this oversized sweater that keeps slipping off her shoulder. Juniper's got glitter on her cheeks from some craft she did yesterday. "We're going to Gran and Pop's," I say, pulling Juniper's boots on. She claps, "Pie time." And Ivy grabs her sketchbook, already planning her next drawing. I load them into the car, the air crisp and sharp, and we're off to Nampa, my hands tight on the wheel. We pull up, and the house looks alive, smoke curling from the chimney, the smell of turkey hitting us as we step out. Mom's at the door before I can knock, her apron dusted with flour, and she pulls me into a hug, her grip shaky. "We were wrong," she says, her voice breaking, eyes wet. I stiffen, caught off guard, but hug her back, feeling her tremble. Dad's behind her, shuffling over, and he ruffles Juniper's hair. "Miss these troublemakers," he grunts, his mouth twitching into something like a smile. The girls barrel inside, Juniper yelling, "Gran pie," and Ivy trailing after, already eyeing the table. Travis is there too, with Lindsay and the boys, and he catches my eye, lifting his chin like, "Told you." We're barely in the living room when Mom pulls me aside, her hands twisting the apron. "Kira," she says, voice low, "we love your brother's kids more because they're easier. But that's our mess, not yours. You're all welcome here." My breath catches, those words cutting deep, but I don't flinch. I look past her, Juniper's chasing Colton around the table, Ivy's giggling as Bryce steals her crayon, and something shifts. It's not about their love being equal, it's about it being enough. I swallow hard, say, "Okay," and step back, letting her fuss with the turkey. The day rolls on, food piled high, Travis and Dad arguing about the game, Lindsay corralling the boys while I keep my girls close. Juniper's got gravy on her shirt, Ivy's sneaking extra stuffing, and I'm sitting there, their warmth against me, feeling steady for once. Mom catches my eye across the table, her face soft, and Dad grumbles something about too many kids, but he's smirking when Juniper climbs into his lap. It's messy, loud us, and it's enough. Driving home that night, the girls sleepy in the back, Ivy mumbles, "Gran's pie was good," and Juniper yawns, "Pop's funny." I smile, tears blurring the road, and grip the wheel. They don't need to prove anything, not to them, not to me. Next year, I'm hosting, my rules, my table, my family. We've fought for our place, and we're keeping it.